You guys have done something that I think is rather interesting. You guys have created a live studio for creators. If you're in the Santa Monica area and you're able to, go check it out. It is badass.
The idea is retail is dying. You go to these shopping streets, it's empty. There's vacant buildings. And then at the same time, there's live streams that sellers want to do. Sellers rarely can do it themselves. Live stream is very difficult and people underestimate how difficult it is. I did a live stream from 9 p.m. till 6 a.m. and I couldn't speak the next day. My voice was just...
I'm sure. Welcome back to another episode of the Social Army Podcast. I am your host, Bryce, and today we have a pretty special episode for you guys. It's not something that we normally do, and this time it's not just a direct creator that we're going to be interviewing. It's actually somebody who owns one of the largest TikTok shop agencies on all of TikTok and has branched out into quite a few different areas. And I think their story is very interesting. And I'd really like to kind of give you guys an inside look as to what it's like to be on the agency side of things, being able to manage creators, tap links, and even brands and things alike. So it's pretty cool. But like normal, let's not waste any time and dive straight into it. This is the owner of Outlandish agency on TikTok, Mr. William. Will, if you would.
Thank you so much, Bryce. Yeah, so I'm the founder and CEO of Outlandish. I do a bit of a background into how I even got into this. So I started in the China market. I actually moved to China when I was 18 and learned Chinese to fluency. And then I graduated from a Chinese university, but I'm originally from the UK. And then I became a creator back in the days. It was 2015, I started making videos on the equivalent of like YouTube in China. And at the time, ByteDance and the Chinese version of TikTok didn't exist. And then it came along around 2018, 2019. And they actually tried to pay me to leave my, the platform was called Bilibili. They tried to pay
Bilibili?
Yeah, Bilibili. It's like this, it's like YouTube of China. They tried to pay me to join Douyin. And I was not interested. It's kind of like how a YouTuber just was very reluctant to leave, to a vertical platform. I didn't understand it. I didn't get it, but I watched it progress from like 2018 to 2021 and it just exploded. And I regret so much not getting involved. I was like, it just makes so much sense that a platform like this would become the #1 platform where anyone with a phone can make a high quality video, make a hook. And then also when they introduced e-commerce, how people would buy through video, through live stream, rather than through a boring picture on a boring website. And so it was so I was a creator. I got to around 5 million followers in China. And then it was around 2018 that I made Outlandish as an agency. Because what I realized was I had a lot of Western companies reaching out to me to make content for China because they didn't understand the market at all. And even when I made content, their channels sucked. You probably see this. It's kind of like UGC right now, where creators are like, hey, I can make your content better than you can make it. Like this, just pay me to do it. I know better than you do as a brand. So I was doing this in China, and then we were doing it for like FedEx, we were doing it for Lululemon, we did it for Starbucks, we had these clients. So the agency in China actually got relatively big. And then I got into more video production and I went very much behind the scenes, helping people make videos. I also ran some big creator accounts, kind of like the Mr. Beast of China. We would do their production and editing and stuff.
That's crazy.
And then it was around 2021 that TikTok reached out to me. And they said, you're from the UK, but you understand the Chinese market. We're opening up TikTok shop in the UK. Would you be interested in going over? So we went into the UK market as one of the first agencies ever to do TikTok shop outside of China. And we dove straight into live stream. So it was really, really, and by the way, I'm going really into in-depth. If you want me to...
No, you're okay. I'm enjoying this because it's giving me all types of ideas to kind of ask you questions about later on in the episode. But it's just crazy to see kind of like the connecting factors. And real quick, just to kind of put some timeline in perspective here, how old are you now?
I'm 34.
You're 34. So you moved to China when you were 18 years old to kind of pursue all of this. And over the last 10, 16 years, this has all just kind of come to fruition. Like, this is insane. And that doesn't seem like that long of a time, or 14 years rather. That doesn't, is it 14? No, that's 16 years. Doesn't seem like that long of a timeline, but it really is.
No, yeah, it's, I mean, ByteDance,
crazy.
They only really, I mean, TikTok only really grew from 2018 or something. It's an extremely new platform that just exploded. And they're very talented people inside of TikTok. The people running TikTok are extremely smart. Like, there's no doubt.
Right. I mean, they've blown up to be the #1 platform. I mean, in multiple different countries. I mean, it's an amazing, it's an amazing thing.
The only platform that has got out of the China ecosystem to go globally. There's multiple platforms inside of China that do similar things, but they just never went outside of China. So yeah. So I went to the UK and we did live streams for basically 2 years straight. It was just live streams. Back then, we were actually had a contract with TikTok to do live streams. That was our job. And so we had like 4 live stream rooms going live 12 hours a day and just burning through labor and just working out what works and what doesn't work. Like, we just did that for 2 years straight. And yeah, we learned a lot. We worked with New Balance, we worked with LG, did their live streams, a lot of small businesses. And then we basically worked out what works and what doesn't work compared to the China market. And then went to the US and changed everything about how we ran the business, because we realized what we did wrong in the UK market. It was kind of like a test market for us. Yeah.
So what brought you into the US market from UK? Did TikTok bring you out here, or did you see just an untapped opportunity?
So we were the only agency invited from the UK market. We were the #1 in the UK, TSP.
Right.
And I mainly saw it as an untapped opportunity, because there's things that happen.
Real quick before we jump too far, what does TSP mean? Because I'm sure so many people are going to be confused about what the hell you just said right there.
TikTok Shop Partner. So essentially a TSP is an agency that works on the seller side to increase the sales in whatever method they feel best. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Awesome. So you work with a TSP, works with the brands, basically.
Yeah, they work with the brands. I think so. In the beginning of the US, what we realized in the UK, it starts with small businesses. It never starts with big businesses.
Right.
So instead of trying to like go to a small business and be like, it's going to cost you $10,000 and we're going to help, they don't have the money. So what we did is we trained them from scratch for free. We made communities. We reached out and we were like, hey, we can help you understand, because they were literally stuck on registration. They didn't know how to register on TikTok Shop. They didn't know how to upload their product. There was a lot of things that they just really didn't know how to do. And we helped them for free.
Right.
And then they grew, and then they came back to us and they're like, hey, you helped us before. How do we get to the next stage? And then we monetize from the sellers. That's how it all starts. And also the creators can't start when there's no products on the platform. So the first thing we have to do is work with TikTok and help sellers get their products on the platform so creators can sell. In fact, you'd find this funny now, but in the first 6 months of TikTok, the main problem was creators would not make content. They weren't interested.
What do you mean? Like, they weren't interested in making like shop style content?
Yeah, no, they wouldn't. We couldn't convince people to make shoppable videos.
It was very interesting. I wonder if it was the stigma of UGC and not wanting to kind of follow down that road.
Yeah.
Or what? Because I'll tell you, as a consumer at the time, when I first discovered what TikTok Shop was, before I realized the power behind it and utilizing it for what it is, I hated it. I hated seeing it. I hated seeing videos about it. I could not stand it.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, it would screw with your algorithm. So you'd post a TikTok Shop video and then you'd go to post your regular content and your regular content would be all out of whack.
Yeah.
So I think that also may have been a reason as to why creators did not want to, mess with it too much. But that's just coming from somebody who didn't know anything about it. And then 6 months later went full force into it. And here we are, but that's crazy.
The same with, the thing is, and even now, most creators that get it are not big creators. They're not like millions of followers, very rarely.
Right.
And that's because why would someone with 1 million followers that's charging $10,000 or $20,000 a video go make a video for commission only, or like $20, $50 without any without any guarantee that they're going to sell. Because what happens is, let's say they do it and they don't sell. Now a brand is going to go to them and be like, oh, why am I paying you 20K? You just made a video and made like $5. It's a huge risk for big creators. That's why in all the markets, the top selling creators start from selling. They don't start from marketing. Very rarely do they start from the marketing perspective.
That's interesting. And it's crazy because you've been able to go through multiple different markets, the Chinese market, which is vastly different from the US market. Yeah. You know, the UK market, again, which is, I mean, the UK is a little closer, I would say, probably to the US market when it comes to like buying patterns of individuals, but it's still not as aggressive as the US market. People here in the US buy anything as long as it's presented to them in a way that makes sense.
Yeah, it's the US market is a lot more supportive than the UK market. UK is just a general, quite negative culture, very pessimistic. They don't like change. If you look, I mean, you can look at the architecture of the UK and get that. Like nothing's changed in the last 100 years over there.
Y'all have over there, they have these roofs that crack me up. It's like straw. What is that? Is that in the UK? You know what I'm talking about?
Thatched roof.
Thatched roof. Yeah, I've seen videos. I'll get stuck on going down a rabbit hole 2 a.m. in the morning watching these videos, and these guys redoing those roofs come up on my page. That's crazy to me. But it's, you know, like you said, the infrastructure doesn't change.
No. Hang on, let me put, I guess, key in notification. All right. Yeah. It's just the attitude of people. They don't like change. It's like a good example is when we do live streams in the UK. The most comments would be like, just give up, you know, just stop. But in the US, a lot.
Damn.
Yeah, it is like hard.
Hey, don't pursue your dream. Just go to work, you know. Although you do get those out here. Go get a real job or put the fries in the bag. You know, you get all those comments here in the US too.
Yeah.
But you're right. It is a lot more supportive because I'll tell you, some of the most supportive individuals I've ever found are random people on the internet. So
yeah, I think in the US, there's a lot of community. So even if you look at like the top live streamers, they're all community based. So there's people that really want to support certain people, and they do really well. And yeah,
you do see that a lot out here. I mean, people will develop cult followings. Like we have a couple of people inside Social Army. When they go live, they have cult followings that just show up to support them. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean and I think that's really what the next top live seller will have is just a crazy cult following. But yeah, I can talk about live streams if you like,
yeah, I was actually just going to jump into that with you. So you guys have done something that I think is rather interesting, that I don't think I've seen anyone else do. I've seen a couple of agencies try to replicate it now. But I feel like you guys were one of the leading factors in this. You guys have created a live studio for creators, and that's absolutely insane. Can you dive in a little bit about how that works and kind of what gave you guys that thought? Because we got to visit it firsthand. And by the way, for those of y'all watching, if you're in the Santa Monica area and you're able to, go check it out. It is badass. Yeah, something I never would have expected.
So I had the idea around 2 years ago. I wanted to do it in the UK market, and I was looking to raise money to do it. And it just, I went to Oxford Street. We did some pop-up shops, and we tested the theory, and it works really well. So basically, the idea is retail is dying, right? Everyone knows it. Like you go to these shopping streets, it's empty. There's vacant buildings, and then at the same time, there's live streams that sellers want to do. So with everything on TikTok, it always starts on the seller side, because the sellers make the most margin. You know, they don't have to sell that much to break even because they own the product, they own the supply chain, whatever. And so when they go into live stream, and sellers rarely can do it themselves. Live stream is very difficult, and people underestimate how difficult it is to do a live stream.
Tiring too, man. It's just so exhausting.
Especially if you do like 8 hours a day, which a lot of sellers want. We have sellers coming to us trying to do like 24/7 streams. I'm like, do you know how hard that is?
Being able to find the creators that'll jump in there and do it and spend the time for it, because it's taxing on your voice, man. When you're doing these lives, you don't stop talking.
I lost my voice.
Do not.
On Thanksgiving night, none of I mean, they would have done it, but a lot of the hosts, they want to, they're at home, they're celebrating. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. I did a live stream from 9 p.m. till 6 a.m. non-stop overnight, and I could speak the next day. My voice is just...
I'm sure. I'm sure that's absolutely insane. I'll go live for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I'm done for the rest of the day. Like, don't ask me to talk.
There's something that
that's crazy.
When you reach like the 3 or 4 hour mark, you just black out in your mind, and and then like 6 hours, and you're like, oh, 3 hours just passed. That was weird. That's insane. It's a weird phenomenon. But yeah, going back to the space. So, we need space to live stream. Like, you need space.
Right.
And then previously we were doing it in warehouses, we were doing it in office spaces. And I'm like, this is dumb because we're making basically a fake shop in the back of an office. Why don't we just put it in retail and let people offline experience it, use it as event space for creators, let creators come in, let creators do live streams as well as sellers. And then we're also helping retail. We're kind of evolving retail in a way where if you're in Santa Monica on 3rd Street Promenade, I won't say how much the rent is, but I'm going to tell you it's not cheap. But if we have 16, 20 brands splitting the cost of the rent and the labor, now it makes sense. But if you're a brand that wants to go on 3rd Street Promenade, you don't want to pay like $60,000 a month. How much money do you have to make? And also the foot traffic is slowing down. You're essentially, the offline experience of shopping in a few years will essentially disappear unless something happens. And I think live stream is the thing that will happen to save retail and make shopping fun again. Because shopping just got dull. Like, go into a shop, they're like, hey, do you want something? No, all right. And then it's like,
and you get avoided. You know, you walk in. If you come up to me and say, hey, how can I help you today? You can't. And, you know, I'll push you off. Like, I was in sales for 10 years, man. I sold cars for 10 years, and that's a brutal one. You know, people come on the car lot, and I'm like, hey, how can I help you? Get away from me and don't talk to me.
Yeah.
You know, that was like the main thing that happened. And it's the same thing in retail stores. But if you have something like the way you guys are doing it, where the consumer can come in and experience these people selling live in real time, they can just watch and then be sold on it while they're watching, and then just go buy what they want. It's you guys are innovating in ways that I don't think people ever would have thought would come to play, because it's insane seeing it happen.
Yeah, and I think so. For now, most of the booths are sellers. I envision by summertime this year or end of this year, I hope it will be creators. Because at the end of the day, creators make so much more money than sellers on live stream. It's the same with, like, when I told you in the beginning, creators weren't making shoppable videos. Now it's the same thing. Creators aren't doing live shopping because they don't understand it. It's hard. It takes a long time. It's a grind. Yeah, but do you know how much money people make when they actually get big and they have a following? That people follow you for a reason. Like the top person in China, a guy called Loyal Ha on Douyin, the Chinese version of TikTok. He charges $30,000 a slot in his basket every day and 15% commission. And he has 50 slots in his basket in his shopping cart. Yeah. He makes a killing, but he can also sell like $1 million a day. So
my eye literally just twitched listening to that. That's insane.
Yeah. These people, they have teams of like 200 people working around them. And so if the US even gets to a fraction of that, which it will get there, then it's going to be a huge market, and not just for the top creators. It's like, this is the thing that inspires me about doing this business. All these people in retail, all these people that are losing their jobs, and they have massive personalities and they work really hard. What are they going to do for a job? What job is suitable for them? There's not that many jobs anymore. They're like dying out. But being a live stream host is a great job for these people, and they actually enjoy it. Like, it's everyone that works here loves it because it's just
seeing that
personality. It's just you,
man. Seeing that in person when we were there and talking to everybody that was there, they were super excited to be there. Hell, what was her name that came down? She came from her house just to be there for us when we showed up there. I can't remember what her damn name was. But she was just super excited. She goes, oh yeah, I came up and drove all the way down here just to be here for this. Like, this is awesome. And I was like, that's crazy. And the atmosphere that's there is insane. People love it.
So it's just right now it's just a flagship store. There's still a lot of kinks we need to work out.
Right. I mean, you're paving a new way,
Hopefully. I mean, if this industry does pop off, which I hope it does, there's like hundreds of thousands of jobs that will be made for this industry, because every single shop will need like at least 2 people to do this. Every single shop in the US and e-commerce shops will need people. So it's I think what we're trying to achieve is very meaningful as well, like long term. That's why I like doing it.
No, it's awesome. And not only that, but you're also going to be providing jobs for production and people who have an understanding of all that.
We have a few people that work here are from Hollywood, and they love it. It's like,
it's interesting.
The culture here, apparently it's better than some film production sets in Hollywood, which is very draining.
Yeah, and I can see that because they don't put up with shit down in that area.
You all know about the strikes.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets bad. So another question I have for you: what of all places made you decide to post up in Santa Monica? I mean, it's expensive there. Is it the culture? Is it the vibe? Is it what made you guys go there?
So one thing, when I did live streams in the UK, I made a lot of mistakes, but the one mistake I made was doing it small. And it makes sense to do it small. If you think about it, like if you don't know, you would think I'm going to start with 1 live stream and then go to 2 and then go to 3, and I'll rent 1 room. But what happens is all of your live streams are just like, there's one over here, there's one over here, and then there's labor that's over here, and there's labor that's over here. I actually needed a very big space to do 20 live streams at the same time, because I knew I had sellers that were interested, and I knew that I was eventually going to need a bigger space. So instead of slowly expanding, in the long term, it actually costs more to do it that way. You just have to go all in, basically. It's like go big or don't do it. Just do it big or don't do it.
Right.
And then I went, the actual reason I chose Santa Monica, one is it's the first place I went to when I went to LA. It's a very touristy spot, and
it is extremely, yeah.
And with this, you need to go to a place where people aren't going there for a specific reason. They're going there to discover, almost like TikTok. You want to, it's like the offline version of TikTok. I'm just going to go and walk along the promenade and see what there is.
Sure.
So people just walk.
There's a lot of colorful stuff on the promenade too. If you walk through there's all types of stuff.
Yeah. And so people just walk in, just not realizing, otherwise, especially in the US, people just drive to a specific place, go to that space, get back in their car and leave. And so that's useless for us, because it's very unlikely that people will know that we exist. So it needs to be a discovery road. And there was another place, Melrose, I was looking at. But Santa Monica, the Third Street Promenade, it had traffic. It wasn't as much as before COVID, but it still had people that were looking for something. And when I went there, I met with a really amazing, the landlord is a really amazing guy. He actually walked me through the place. I thought it was going to be an agent. It was the landlord, a guy called Eric. And he was like, this is an amazing idea. I want to do it. And I was like, okay, like I wasn't expecting this. Like usually the landlords, especially a new concept, they're very against it because they want something safe and they want something they understand. And so I got immediate.
You want a guarantee of a payment every month.
Exactly. So he was very supportive, and then the local city, and the mayor now, we just so happened to meet very quickly, and they were very supportive. And this Santa Monica is actually I think it's going to be a booming place soon. Everyone working for the city and all the people working on the promenade, they all see a vision, and we're looking to, kind of reimagine what shopping is on Third Street Promenade. So yeah, it's just a great place. It was just luck, really.
That's awesome. And I will say, the inside of that place, I don't think could have been any more perfect than what it is with the layout. I mean, when you first walk in, you have both sides just lined with the streaming studios. And by the way, guys, the studios that they have, when you see them on a live stream, you would think that they were in an entire office or an entire room dedicated specifically to that and nothing else. that couldn't be further from the truth. It's crazy to see them lined up, all with kind of like this designed set to make it look long and deep, when in reality, it's what, maybe 6 feet in length from where the person's standing at the back wall, something like that.
Yeah, there's a forced perspective that we actually, when I designed the booths, I hired 6 different set builders to test. I was like, this is what I want to do. Who can come up with the best solution? And then our art director now, Lindsay, came up with this idea. What about a forced perspective? So it looks really deep, but it's not. And it worked really well. Right. And she designed all that.
It did. And when you come across these live streams, because I see them all the time, you know, for Crocs, for Goalie, and all these other brands, you see it and you would think that they were just in a room. And the coolest thing about all of this is these people, they're next to each other, all of them lined up, right? But you don't hear them because they're all using noise canceling microphones and good quality cameras and things of this nature and recording software. And it works, but it's the most insane thing to see. So you walk in, it's just those 2 rows. How many booths do you have in the front? Is it 18?
16.
16? So you have 16 of them. Then you walk in, there's a stairs where you go upstairs, and then you can get a bird's eye view of the entire studio. And then you guys have that one main studio in the back with the big ass screen and what is that one called?
We call it the mega stage. It's a
mega
15-foot LED screen.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
But the whole perspective of what it looks like when you walk in, you just don't, it's literally the perfect place and perfect layout for everything. And then you guys have like a little basement or something for you guys to have all your prop and stuff set up down there. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And for you guys to just be kind of creating this as you go, you're doing such an amazing job. I don't think people realize where this is going to go. I mean, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I really do think everyone who is into live streaming needs to experience that studio firsthand because it is a surreal experience.
Yeah. And I really do hope live stream goes, I mean, even in the UK, it's doing quite well now. Seller live streams in the UK account for, I want to say like almost double the US, and they're only 1 year ahead of the US. So
holy shit.
It will get there. It just takes time. It's a consumer habit. I mean, it's the same thing as, you know, when you started buying groceries on Amazon and people would make fun of you and they're like, you're stupid using Amazon. And now everyone's using it. It's the same thing.
Right. Now just delivered to the door. Yeah. I do that with cleaning materials and toiletries and paper towels and things like that. My wife's like, why are you doing that? I don't want to go to Sam's. I'll just order it off of Amazon. I can get it in bulk too, you know. Sam's is a devious place.
Eventually, it's also like, and I'm supporting the creator that I like. I'm getting a better price, and they're getting paid, and I like watching their live stream.
You know, I really wish that stigma of how do I buy this without giving you commission would just disappear. I don't understand that. These people would much rather buy directly from the company, filling their pockets more, doing the exact opposite of what they want to do, instead of supporting somebody who's getting a cut out of that at the same price or lower because the companies are offering stupid discounts to these sellers who are selling live.
Yeah.
So that stigma is so bad. You know, that brings me to another point with you guys. Can you dive in a little bit on how these lives are structured? Like with the brands working with them and creating their own flash sales and doing all that kind of stuff?
So you mean like how we set up flash sales and
oh yeah, because when we were there on that mega live, maybe it was her own brand. I don't remember. But when we were there on that mega live, she was running flash sales that the average creator or the average person wasn't going to be able to get. But they were setting time limits and they were happening behind the scenes and she was being queued and this and that. Like it was an entire production set. It wasn't just a creator behind camera. There was like 6 people working with her.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So on a bigger live like that, you need a lot of support, especially on the creator. So creator lives and seller lives, they're actually different in terms of even how you operate the promotions and how you set the flash sale. Right now, the flash sale for creator lives is actually very difficult to set up for a seller. It's almost a full-time job for someone to set up flash sales. When we did the Jason Derulo live stream with Crocs, we had 2 people full-time setting up flash sales. That was their only job. Because it's such a pain in the ass. I think they're going to fix the problem. It's a product problem. Basically, every time a flash sale ends, you need to delete it from the shopping cart and then reset the flash sale at a timer for every single product. And if you imagine, most products are like 3 to 5 minute flash sales. So every 3 minutes, you have 50 products that you have to reset the flash sale for.
Oh, so it's not just individual; it's for the whole lineup. Oh my god,
it's a real pain. And so on the seller side, it's a lot easier because you can set up in advance. So you can just say between 3 p.m., 3 p.m. and 3:03, we're going to have one flash sale at this amount, and then you can set that up for the whole hour, and you could even run it without having to do it manually, or you can do it manually and then say start flash sale now, 3 minutes, and then just copy and paste that flash sale and then restart it. It takes like 30 seconds. The host can do it themselves. So right now, that's one of the main issues with Creator Lives is literally a TikTok product issue. Once that's fixed, it's going to get a lot easier. The other thing is the creator can't set it up themselves. The seller has set up for the creator. So that's where maybe like an agency like us, we can do it. But if you think about it from a small seller perspective, and let's say they have 100 creators that go live, it's literally impossible for them to set up flash sales for every single creator. It would take maybe 2 full-time people to do it. So it doesn't make sense. But so when it comes to a live production, you have the live director. So for example, with the Jason Derulo one, that was Kenan. It took 2 weeks of preparation to do this because especially when you're working with a celebrity, they're not really going to they're not going to prepare with you. They just come in and be like, all right, what do I do? Right.
Right.
By the way, Jason Derulo was super professional. He's very easy to work with, very nice guy. So
it's awesome that y'all had him at your facility and on set. That's super cool.
Yeah. And then also like the set design took 3 weeks to make. We had to work with custom set designers and make all that stuff. We have an art director, and we had to make the render for the brand to confirm they want to change this thing, blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, this is like a huge production though. And then we had 3 cameramen, and we had the director on set. And then we had 2 people managing the products. So when they wanted to switch shoes out, they had to get the right ones with the right, what are they called? I forgot the name of it. The things that go in the Crocs. Gibbets.
Oh.
Gibbets.
That's what they call those?
Yeah, gibbets.
Oh my goodness. Right. I did not know that was the thing. I was going to call it a charm.
No, it's like they have their own thing.
That's crazy.
And then you have the camera operator, and then you have the person managing the cameras, like switch to camera 1, camera 2 before the EP. So this is like huge production stuff. And then you have the person managing the flash sales and the seller center, and then the brand's usually there. And then in a big creator live like this, TikTok usually sends a couple of people as well to support on the traffic side. And then we had 4 ad managers running ads on the back end. So this was a huge production. I think there was like 20 people involved during the day. But then,
and how long was that live stream?
That was 4 hours. It was a 4-hour live stream. So that's
wow.
For big creators. And then if a creator, for example, starts to make, $50,000 a day in sales, then they might be looking for something like this, because this is what the brand wants. If you start working with bigger sellers, they're going to need like a lot of support. So they want to make sure their brand's represented, because if you imagine they're spending $10,000 just for you to demonstrate the product, you need a whole team to make sure that's done well.
Right. That's insane.
But this is like top level stuff. When you go to like mid-level stuff with the day-to-day lives, as you saw in the live shop that we have, that's more like we have a live plan for now we do quarterly, because especially when it comes to live stream, you need to consider the campaigns ran by TikTok. Because in day-to-day lives, you can't expect to always have the lowest price and always get excitement. You almost need to have community-based and entertainment lives, and then build up to certain days where you do massive deals. And so as long as you have that in the back of your mind, maybe some days your KPI isn't even to make sales, it's to make followers or get people to sign up to events so that they're ready for a big deal. And so from a creator standpoint, it's like every Friday I'm going to do a deal, so everyone get ready. And every Wednesday I'm going to do this, and every Monday I'm going to do this. And then so you have the live plan, and then you have the product strategy team So for a creator, on a seller, you don't really need this, but on a creator, you really want like a full-time product strategy position where it's like, because that if you do Shoppable Lives, you probably spend a lot of time finding the right products. If you can, you speak to the seller, try and get the best deal, try and get a flash sale, try and get giveaways. It takes a lot of time. And if you have a team just dedicated to this, it becomes a lot easier. And then you can just concentrate on selling. So product management, seller communication, making sure the flash sales are set up. You have the set design, making sure that's updated so it doesn't get stale. And then you have the live plan, which is, we have the engagement rule of 3, which is like, how are you going to keep suspense in your live stream? How are you going to engage? And then how are you going to reward that person for watching with a deal or, you know, maybe a giveaway or something like that. So they're constant when they come into your live stream that they know that something is going to happen. If you're, especially in a seller live, if you're not always pushing something is about to happen, then they won't stay. It's kind of like, I don't know if you watch them like ping pong balls and they're bouncing it into a cup. I watched that for way too long. But it's like
wait for them to hit that trick shot.
That's essentially suspense and reward. You're just like, it's always a suspense. Something's going to happen. And then when it goes into the cut, it's like, I got a reward. And so you need to build that.
Yeah.
You need to build, you can build it through like an action. It's actually very difficult. And it's a very creative process to think like, because if you're always, if it's always the suspense is me selling, people will get bored of that. You need to have some kind of suspense through personality, through doing an action, and then a reward based on that mixed with the shoppable side. That's really where it's difficult. And
I think a lot of people fail to do that though when going live, or just lack the understanding of that. And that's where building your following comes in handy.
Yeah,
big time, because people aren't just going to show up to hear you talk. But if you give them something to look forward to, then they will show up to hear you talk.
Yeah.
That's insane.
You see
there's so much more that goes into live streaming than I even really understand. I'm a video guy. I create videos, and that's just kind of where I'm at. I'm not a big fan of lives. One, they take up a lot of time, and I've got a lot of responsibilities here at home with all the kids and work and things of that nature. But man, there is so much that goes into lives.
There's, I think soon there's going to be a lot more 24/7 lives, where they're just going to be live all the time. I think it's a good idea. Because if you think about it from a seller perspective, if, for example, you wanted to rebuy a product, and they're not live, then you're just like, oh, I was going to buy. And I think it's getting to the
sale. It's a missed opportunity.
Yeah. And it's getting to the point, I think, with TikTok where the GMV is high enough that it might start to make sense. Previously, it didn't make sense because the GMV was too low. Maybe it was like $200 an hour or something. And you're like, well, I'm paying $200 an hour to run it. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But soon, when it gets to like $500, $1,000 an hour, then the brand's going to be like, just run it 24/7. Now it's a shopping channel. It's just a shopping channel. You know?
So when running it 24/7, are you flipping out creators, or people behind camera, things of that nature? That like, this is crazy.
So if you look at the China market, even big creators will run their account 24/7. They will just come on between like 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. And then the other times they'll get other creators to run their account. And it just goes on forever. And then they make different category accounts. So, because when you're looking at a live stream, like, why would someone buy from you? What you really have to be an expert in that category for someone to take you seriously. And so if you can have your bio and have your whole persona is you're a tech expert. And now if you're live all the time, you're like, I need to buy a camera. Which one should I buy? Here, I pin it for you. Buy that one. All right, I'll buy that one. So, yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there.
What do you think the timeline is on major brands getting on? Like, so for example, you just mentioned cameras. I'm developing an obsession with cameras now. Do you think Sony or like B&H Photo and things of that nature will eventually get onto TikTok to start selling their products out so people can live stream and sell actual style cameras like that?
Yeah, I think it's going to be very soon. We're actually talking to Bose at the moment. I think they're going to onboard.
Oh God, that's amazing.
I think, I mean, there's already retailers that have Samsung and stuff.
Well, I mean, you've got Newegg, who's up there, who has a lot of products on there. But the problem with Newegg is when you're live streaming or creating videos of some of these products, those trademark strikes come after you. And that seems to be something. Yeah, let's see, who's that one brand that you guys had over there? I bought a laptop from them, Plug Tech, with Apple. We've had a few creators get trademark strikes promoting their products because they're Apple products.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
So I've always been kind of curious about. Hell, I even got a trademark myself for using the hashtag AirPods.
Huh. Yeah. I didn't know about that. Send me, if you have any more information, I'll see if I can raise a ticket and see if we can fix that.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know, because I would love to promote these higher end, like Plug Tech. Oh my God, I have so much Apple products, it's insane. And I'd love to jump on a live or, create videos and tag Plug with their products and just sell those things. But I'm terrified of those trademark strikes, because they're licensed to sell them just refurbished, not as new, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I know there's a bunch of other refurbished, I think, what's it called? There's one called Swag or something that just launched. And then there's another one that's launched. So the refurbished tech is going to be huge this year. Yeah.
I buy all of my stuff refurbished or pre-owned. I don't ever buy tech new when it comes to this kind of like cameras and things like that.
Yeah.
It's just too expensive to buy new, and I'd rather buy pre-owned anyway. Most people buy them, use them for a week, decide they don't know anything about it, and sell it. And those are the people I try to pick up from. So.
Oh yeah, same. I just got a new camera as well. Sony camera.
What'd you get?
It was Sony. What is it called? Sony FDR X3000 action camera.
Wow, it sounds like an action camera.
Yeah, it's really small,
Nice.
and I see loads of vloggers using it, and it's like that big.
Oh, I see it. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
There's a guy named I don't know if you know who he is. His name's Daniel Dalla. Jasper actually put me onto this guy. He vlogs a lot of his content. He owns a dropshipping warehouse and all that. But he was on a video I was just watching of him. He just bought one of these as well. It's that style of camera.
Yeah,
those are badass.
And it's just, it can literally fit in your pocket. I know there are other ones, but I don't know. I just kind of like the old school ones where it's just.
Yeah, this looks so cool.
Yeah,
it's 4K, Wi-Fi, GPS, all that.
Yeah, and there's DJIs that do similar ones, but I don't know. I see some of my favorite vloggers using it, and I think the quality is pretty good. It's good enough, and it's really convenient to take around. I used to use like really thick vlogs. It's just like it's too big.
Yeah. Having a big camera for vlogging and moving around is kind of tough. That's why I have this little DJI Osmo Pocket.
Yeah, that was my second choice, but I don't know why. Yeah. I just like the really small. It's more like a handheld one. I don't know.
Yeah, that's cool. I had this when I was at your guys' facility. That's actually what I was vlogging everything with. I love that thing.
Yeah,
it's awesome. Well, I want to ask you one more thing before I let you get out of here. I've held you hostage for long enough, and I appreciate you for opening up about all this stuff, man. This is super interesting, and to get kind of like a behind the scenes look at agencies and seeing what you guys do primarily along the lines of live, because it's kind of like your main sector, is really cool. But have there been any sort of like crazy challenges that you guys have faced going into this? Things that maybe made you think twice about putting yourself where you're at and things of that nature?
For sure. I think any agency, you're almost at the mercy of the platform, and you can't, even if you wanted to do something faster, because we're almost, we're at the edge of social commerce. Like, we can't go any further until the platform decides, because a lot of it's based off of the algorithm. For example, like how fast can live shopping grow in a sense really is determined by the platform. How much can they push it? Because right now, like they open up a portion of their traffic to live shopping. It's not 100%. It's nowhere near 100%. If they did 100%, everyone would complain and probably leave TikTok. But at the same time, we want that to open up further so we get more customers. Same as you. Like, if you get more views on your videos, then better. But what determines the views? Yeah, you can make the perfect video, but you're still limited by how much the platform wants to push shoppable content. So
right.
there's been mistakes where we've tried to push faster than the platform is pushing themselves. And that's when you fall into a trap and you're like, well, I overextended and now I'm making a loss. So that's one of the biggest headaches that we've had in general. Yeah, I think I would say that's my answer. Yeah.
That's crazy. And to think that it's not more than just that is absolutely insane. I mean, you found something that is just, I don't even know how, like, bulging out of its packaging, just ready to explode. And I'm super excited to see where it goes, because you guys have, again, you guys are doing things that are just not normal in any way, shape, or form when it comes to retail. You don't see this kind of stuff in retail. You know, the traditional way of retail is you see a commercial about it on TV, or you see an ad on whatever platform you're on, whether it's Meta, which is where most people see their ads at, and Facebook, Instagram. You think about it, you go to Amazon, you buy it. You go to the website, you buy it, or you drive to the store where it's at physically if you're impatient like me and don't want to wait for the shipping times, and you buy it.
Yep.
But now you guys are setting up a way to where people not only are able to buy through education, watching a live stream, because people are constantly demonstrating the use case for the product, but you're also giving people an opportunity to come in and actually explore all of that in real time, which is just such a crazy thought. And I don't think something that anybody would have thought would happen.
Yeah. Online to offline, offline to online, global to local, local to global. That's what I like.
It's insane. It's insane.
And I think
it's bridging a gap that I don't think people knew needed to be bridged.
Yeah.
Really.
I mean, retail definitely needed it to be bridged. Even in the UK, struggling bad, like everything's closing down, and it's like, what do they need? They need to sell online. Obviously their business is being destroyed by online business. You need to work out a way somehow, and live stream is the logical solution to me, because like I said, it needs space, so why not do it in a fun place?
Do you think creators should be focusing more on live streams moving into 2025?
I would say if you have the right personality for it, then it's a huge opportunity, but it's not everyone is built for live stream. But if you look at all the other markets, your value will not increase I mean, if you can live stream and sell, and you can make videos and sell, you're going to be a lot more valuable than someone that can just make videos, because live stream is very predictable. If I'm a business, I'm much more likely to pay you a flat fee if you can live stream and do it on video rather than just on video, you know, because videos hit and miss a lot of the time.
Yeah, no, 100%. You can't make a video go viral every time. I keep the same structure with all my videos through and through, but, you know, 1 out of 10 will do some numbers instead of, you know, every video, you know, but that's crazy.
Yeah. If you can become one of the top live streamers, you'll be a billionaire.
That's so crazy to think of. That guy in China clearly is on his way to do so. My goodness.
Yeah.
$30,000 a slot. That's crazy.
It makes like $200K a day.
That's so stupid.
By existing.
That's so dumb. That's insane. Oh man. Well, again, I appreciate your time today, man. I really enjoyed this entire conversation with you. I'm definitely want to come back and visit you guys next time we're down in LA. And kind of see how far you guys have expanded, and maybe even get behind the camera one of these times with some of these brands. You know, we work really close with Goalie, so it'd be kind of cool to sell some Goalie in there one day.
Come visit. I mean, we're open basically every day. I think Monday we close, but every day you can. We're trying to work out a way where you can like book a time and then use the set. That's in the works, but you can come visit anyway. Anyone can visit. It's open.
Of course. Definitely want to come down there and check y'all out, man. Again, it was really cool the first time around. So, but outside of that, man, I think I've taken up enough of your time today. We try to keep these, you know, around 45 minutes to about an hour long, and I think we're right in between that time here. But outside of that, man, is there anything else you would like to say to the viewers that are watching? Any kind of motivational words of wisdom on some of the things that you've learned along the way?
I would just say, I was thinking about this yesterday. Essentially, what we're doing is taking power from big commerce companies to creators. And I think that's very interesting to think about. Instead of buying through ads on Meta, they're buying from you. And if And if it will become that, if that becomes mainstream, creators will have a lot of power, even more than the sellers themselves. So it's something to think about.
It's amazing. That's amazing. And hopefully creators will start making a lot of good money from that too. So that's great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, hey, Will, I appreciate you again, man. You guys, this will conclude another episode of the Social Army podcast. This was Will from Outlandish Agency. They're based out of San Diego or Santa Monica. If you guys want to go visit them, go check them out. Seriously, I recommend it. It's one of the coolest things you'll ever see and be able to experience. And just getting down there to kind of get a sneak peek, maybe it'll spark something in you didn't know existed. So, but Will, again, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate you for being here.
Thank you so much.